We're born in the moonlight. Ain't no fair to say. Can't breathe in the sunlight.
Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here, and welcome back to Changeling. We're here, back in the club room. We're gonna be learning, or at least try to find out if it's glamour and other fairy stuff. I shot Willem outside long look, if you're okay with me helping. Of course I am, not that I had any idea where to start, even with all the new information. Fortunately, with the four of us excused from class, we had the whole day to hang around the club room, poring over books together. Other club members filtered in and out throughout the day. Spencer was kind of a point of curiosity for most of them, but they mostly left us alone. For a while, I kind of forgot the awkwardness between me and William. Neither of us really spoke about what had happened in the morning or the day before. Spencer was actually helpful. It had been so long since we'd had normal interactions. I'd forgotten how logical and methodical he could be about things. He gave us some much needed direction. Not to mention how nice it was to interact with him when he wasn't being nasty. The only break we took was during lunch, and after a while, it felt almost kind of fun to be all researching together. I mean, it was frustrating that it was difficult to find anything, and it was frustrating to be researching something kind of serious, and frustrating to think about not being able to leave for safety reasons. But for just a little while, it was easy to forget about all the dire parts and just enjoy spending time with three of the people most important to me. It was shortly after the final bell that Spencer finally stood and stretched. I should get home. I still need to get some of your things for you. I should probably do it before Mom gets home, or she'll be suspicious about why I'm doing it for you. Yeah, thanks for the help. He shrugged. It wasn't like things were totally back to normal between us yet. It felt a little awkward. I'm putting words that aren't there. It felt a little like the spell that we'd been under for the most of the day had been broken, and he was suddenly far away again. I should go check in too, but keep me updated if you find anything else. I frowned down at my notes, one word catching my eye, something Spencer had caught onto earlier in the day. Changeling. Yeah, I will. Be careful, both of you. Spencer left first without another word. Allie was right behind him. I sighed and flopped across the table as they left. Changelings, huh? Spencer first lit on the idea when he was looking into fairies living as humans. It wasn't that I hadn't read about them before, I just kind of dismissed the idea. Like other things, it was a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. But as Allie pointed out, we had no real way of knowing how accurate these books were when it came to the details. Fairies were pretty greedy with their secrets, so we couldn't know for sure if there was some version of the lore that did fit. Still, it didn't explain everything, not by a long shot, so I didn't know. Michiko? Whoa, sudden music change. I want you to know that I never wanted to make you feel bad. I just didn't want to see anyone get hurt anymore. We hadn't really gotten any time to talk during the day. Which is surprising that William's gonna be like, gotta talk to her now, because we're alone. Okay, just the two of us anyway, so even if the awkwardness faded a little while Allie and Spencer were still here, it wasn't like the air was really cleared. I sighed softly, pushing my journal aside. I know that, William. I can't imagine you intentionally hurting anyone. With everything that's happened, with how I pushed you away, I understand if you don't want to talk to me anymore. That isn't what I want. That's the whole point. Look, William, I understand if there's a need to be careful about interactions in unprotected spaces. I just don't like being told who I can talk to, or just being told I should stay away as if we're not capable of working something out ourselves. I do understand that your situation is unique, but you're my friend. The word friend. Jesus, I'm not going to just abandon you. I can't do that. I know you aren't like that. I can respect rules and boundaries. I mean, sort of. Most of the time. But look, being careful is different than totally ignoring you. What I don't want is to see you sacrifice your own happiness because you think you're protecting me. I don't need that. You shouldn't be so willing to throw yourself at danger. That's not what I'm trying to do. No one else in the club really ever questioned staying away from me. Even Mark is fine staying away. You're the first person to ignore that. I feel like maybe Mark, low-key, high-key, whichever key, really wants to be William's friend, but he stays away because he's being told to. And he probably thinks he's helping. In my defense, I didn't know staying away from you was some kind of rule. I'd have broken it anyway, though. I struggle with rules, and that happens to be a really stupid one at that. I'm glad you broke that rule. Though, for the record, it's not really a rule. In any case, guess what's right? It doesn't really matter now, since... Hey! I took his hand and gave it a squeeze. We don't have to talk about that. If I hadn't talked to you and spent time with you, they wouldn't have targeted you. I wouldn't have gotten mad. You wouldn't have to be stuck here now. He's speaking so softly. I must have strained to hear him. I'm glad you talked to me. I'm glad we spent time together. Wasn't so happy to get pushed off the stairs, but that wasn't your fault. Even ghosts had to be responsible for their own actions. You saved me. Twice since that amulet of yours also saved my butt last night. I'm glad that I get to be stuck here with you. Okay? He shot me an uncertain smile. You're too nice. I know a lot of people will disagree with you about that. Besides, you're the nice one. He lowered his eyes, blushing slightly. I'm not. A little while later, Spencer came back with some of my things. He remembered my herbs too, which was good since I'd completely forgotten, and escaping the club would probably be bad on several fronts. Guests brought us dinner, and Allie stopped by again in the evening. We just hung out to get our minds off everything, but when everyone left and it was just me and William, everything started to sink in a bit more. When I curled up on the sofa alone was the first time I really felt afraid since the last attack had happened. Hey, Chico? I rolled over and looking down at where he had blankets spread on the floor. I smiled wearily, regretting the decision to take the floor. Are you scared? Well, a little, I guess. We'll be safe here. The last time I tried to hide here, it learned where I was, but it was never able to break through the barrier. Well, that's not comforting, because it still knows where we are. That's a relief to hear, I guess. Sleep well. I will. Thank you, William, for everything. He took my hand and held it against his chest as he closed his eyes. No, that's what I should be saying to you. We were like that until we both fell asleep. Chapter 8. Unmasked. Unmasked? Oh. Wait, when's Halloween? Okay, it's not Halloween. You guys can't see, but it was October 30th. Ugh, there's nothing in these stupid books about fairy multiple personalities. I flopped back on the sofa, rubbing my face. We were back at the setting. Allie was with us since they got the day before his Sam Hainoff, and Spencer joined us too, as he'd been planning. We were alternating between more research and answering his questions, and he, as expected, had a lot. He asked things I hadn't thought to ask, so it was kind of interesting listening to Allie answer. He was also complaining a lot. How can you find anything in these books anyway? Not one of them has a proper index. It's impossible to find anything useful. Yes, I know. Annoying, isn't it? That's what I've been saying for 2 weeks. He flipped back to something he'd been reading earlier. What about this bit? About the forgetful people. Forgetful people? Yo, that's me. Apparently another word for fairies, or it might be a specific type of fairy. It's really hard to work out the exact context. Anyway, it says that one time there was a belief that the human soul was a tiny creature living within the body, and at night it would leave the body. What it experienced came back to the body as dreams. There's also something about a type of fae called Mara that are thought to be the souls of children who leave their bodies at night and play tricks on people. I've read about the Mara before, but I didn't really write anything down about them. It doesn't seem to apply. If it was just my soul leaving my body at night, oh god, then wouldn't my body be staying in bed rather than sleepwalking? Yeah, that doesn't explain why your body's moving around. I hate this. It feels like we're on the right track somehow, but really far away at the same time. What about this particular changeling variation? It says, mother tried to drown their children to get the fairy out of them. It sounds almost like possession. Can fairies possess people? Is that a thing? William started at that. I glanced his way while he was staring down at the book in front of him with his brow furrowed. What's wrong? I was thinking something along those lines as well, actually. Really? I literally had not considered it at all. I don't know that much about fairies, so I could be really far off, but I knew there's an overlap between fairies, spirits, and ghosts. Fairies overlap with nearly every other cryptic species, actually, but they have particularly strong associations with the dead. Based on what I've read so far, there are many non-corporeal fairies. If one attached itself to you, it could be responsible for what you're experiencing. Wouldn't you be able to see it, though? And what about the change in appearance stuff? Excuse me. I can't see most fairies, just as there are ghosts you can't see. And all fairies do possess the ability to use glamour. That's true. I sighed and laid my arms on the coffee table. Why don't we go over it all again? All again? Because every time we do, it makes me want to throw something. He gave me an exasperated look and apparently elected to ignore my wishes. 5 years ago, after you went missing, I stumbled on you with a group of other fairies while you were in your other form, which means that whatever's going on with you happened at the age of 12 or earlier. And when I saw you, the fairies freaked out and chased me, and ended up stealing the sight in my right eye before I could get away, which apparently is an uncommon response when fairies encounter a human who can see them. You have no memories of those events, but continue to leave the house at night occasionally for the next few years, always returning before dawn. With no memory of that either, thank you very much. And when we came here, the leaving house escalated, but I started being able to wake myself in the middle of it, usually with a distinct feeling of having to find something to go somewhere or to get home. I mulled that over for a moment and picked up one of my books Spencer had set aside earlier. I can't help but feel we're overcomplicating this to spare my feelings, coming up with all these theories about possession or what have you. What if changing? What if something much simpler is going on? What if what happened was this? I was born Fae and became a changeling, a replacement for a human child that was taken away, a replacement for the real Chico Melody. Ugh, I hated saying those words, but we couldn't keep ignoring that possibility. What if all of these blackouts are me unconsciously remembering who and what I am, and I'm just trying to get back home to the fairy? Look, I'm not exactly thrilled with the idea that I'm not me. Actually, it's pretty terrifying. Even more so because that's what Spencer has been saying this whole time, and it was initially my biggest fear when I joined the club. But I can't ignore the possibility and pass up possible answers because I don't like them. That doesn't help anyone. If that's the case, then what happens to the babies stolen by fairies? They're usually raised in fairy, though the books are vague as to why exactly. They list anything from use as breeding stock to payments to hell as reasons. I think we may have hit a dead end on this. There are way too many options on the table here. Possession, wandering souls, changelings, and we can't ignore the possibility that none of those is the issue, and it's something else entirely. Maybe we should call in an expert. Fairy expert? William had actually suggested the murder previously, though that hadn't worked out with the timing, and now there was no way for us to get there safely. At least not until Monday or Tuesday at the earliest, which would mean another entire weekend of no answers. We could ask Brenna, or maybe Ewan. We might be able to get a hold of them this weekend. I showed him a grateful look. I was certain I was projecting tidal waves of angst his way. Poor guy. Ewan would probably be more willing to talk, but given that he was raised human, I don't know how much help he'll be. I don't think his father's really told him much about fairy society. Brenna? Really? That black-haired girl that jumps on people from the top of the bleachers. She's Fae, not a pleasant one, really, but Fae, nonetheless, and she may be our only potential source of information. Anyone know her number? I don't think she has a phone, but Elliot probably knows how to get in touch with her. She doesn't have a phone. Well, Brenna really helped, though. She did rescue me from that Spriggan. That's true. Come to think of it, when I encountered the Spriggan, the first thing it said to me was, "You're back," as if it recognized me. That's right, I remember you saying that. At the time, I just shrugged it off as something random a wild Fae was saying. Then it tried to drag me away. Brenna was the one that intervened there. It definitely might be good to talk to her as our next step. Maybe. Look, why don't Spencer and I go get some lunch for everyone? I think we could all use a break. I'll bring you some coffee. Thanks, she said and stretched. We'll figure it out, don't worry, if you say so. There have to be answers somewhere. Maybe that guy, Milos or whatever, maybe has some thoughts. I haven't seen him out at all today, guess either. They're both out in the field for most of today. They asked me to keep an eye on things here. It's been quiet and they lost track of that drudge. With the overflow heading toward its peak, they're worried about it not knowing where it is. Well, that's reassuring. It's gonna be fine, don't worry. You keep saying that. I have yet to see any signs of this fineness. Hey, you're alive and in a safe place and purpose to attack. It's totally fine. Allie, saying it that way is literally tempting the universe to prove you wrong. It'll be fine. Can we go now? Come on, I'll show you how to get to the murder from here. You're going to love this. The two of them left, and I couldn't help but feel a little frustrated. I was unable to go along. I sighed and leaned back against the sofa, rubbing my eyes. I know it's frustrating right now. I'm sure we'll find the answers you're looking for, though. I'm starting to feel like it may not matter which of these possibilities is true. No matter what, they all end up with the revelation of me not being me. Michiko, nothing will uncover what change who you are. It'll change my understanding of who I am. When your entire sense of self shifts, it's more or less the same thing as becoming someone else. I know how Spencer felt all these years, living with someone and having no idea who they are. Except I feel like I'm living in the same body as someone I don't even know. I sighed again. If I could just remember what happened back then. I looked up at him. Can you do that thing? That psychometry thing you're doing for Cass? On you? It doesn't really work like that. If I could go to the location where it happened, I might be able to see what took place. But using psychometry on people is it doesn't work well. Why not? There's too much to sift through to try to find the right thing. People are infinitely more complex than a place or an object, which is very true. I see. I looked back down at my journal, reading over the previous notes. This needle in a haystack approach was really starting to wear on me already, and we were only 2 weeks in. And this is where I'm going to save today. I feel like maybe we are nearing the end. I have to double check and see how many chapters Danny had, because I'm assuming maybe each guy had somewhat of a similar amount of chapters. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Touch it,